All right, this is attempt number 2 at a shorter video because there was a lot of backlash over me wanting to go to an LS. Say hi, Finn. And as I'm sitting here kind of getting ready and planning to get the engine out of the basement, there's a lot of things to kind of like ponder at, and one of them being, um, you know, the engine that's going back in here is an Olds. How long that engine's going to last, I don't know. It was in there for 4 years. We raced the living crap out of it. I freshened up the heads and whatnot, and hopefully we get another couple more seasons out of it. Everything looked great. Nothing was wrong with it. It still ran good. It ran 1140s last fall. Keep that in mind. That's gas pump, iron heads, pretty much still a street car running 1140s with a 350 Olds. Pretty damn good for what that engine cost me to build. That engine cost me a little under $4,000, but it was built a while ago. The J-headed Slugger over here, that one cost me just a hair over $4,000, and that was during the middle of the pandemic, which, if you guys have followed me and known me long enough, when everybody told me to do it right the first time, I didn't listen to them, and I don't care. Why? Because failure is never failure if you learn something. And with every engine I've built, with every combination, I've learned something unique. I've dove into problems that a lot of people don't run into. And where most people would have given up, I just kept going. Whether it be carburetor, transmission, you name it, I've been able to do it. And a lot of people told me I was doing things wrong over the last 17 years, and I'm yet to have real catastrophic failure. This was a lucky catch, probably one of the worst ones, but the engine was still running. It was still running good. We ran 1190s through the mufflers the previous weekend, so a lot of people told me over the years that I've been doing things wrong and what I should do and how I should do it. And my MO is to just tell them to fuck off, because I do what I want, how I want, when I want. I don't do this stuff because I'm brand loyal. I stuck with a small block Olds strictly out of economic need. When people would give up on their 350 Olds and go to a 455, I would buy small block Old stuff dirt cheap. But the pandemic ruined that. Those days are over. Parts are hard to come by, and I cannot stress that enough. That's another reason why I'm pulling the plug. I'm probably going to an LS. Now, there is another day of fight in this one, and I'm not going to talk about it until I have the right pieces, but this engine will run again. I guarantee you that. And over the winter, I'm going to get stuff together to build a 6.0 LS, and I have a bunch of friends that run LSs, and they've ran them way harder than I have. So I'm talking twin turbos, nitrous, running 9s, 10s. I just want to run low 11s, which this car ran 1140s with my 350 making 425. I want to make 475 horse. 450 is fine, probably more than enough for what I need. I need to put a cage in it because I want it anyway, but it's not like it's the end of the world. My whole thing is I want to build a generic engine that can be fixed with generic parts, because for the amount of racing that I did last year and the last couple of years, it kind of makes you think if something's out and you're in the middle of a season, you're screwed. If I didn't have a spare engine, I'd be ordering pistons, sending stuff to the machine shop. This engine would not get done for another month and a half, period. End of story. So going to an LS, a 6.0, even with a stock bottom end, I'm not going to tax it. Every single person that I personally know who has run a stock bottom end 6.0 or 5.3 and beaten the shit out of them, they are saying that what I'm going to be doing with it, it's going to be easy. So I'm going to take their actual experience with a grain of salt and go for it and find out for myself. So my game plan is to build a 6.0 with a good set of AFR heads, a good cam, get some good compression out of it, and we're going to stay with a carburetor, and that's it. It's going to be just last year we did, I think, 12 races, and put a ton of runs on the car, and I just need something that is more, you know, foolproof if something goes wrong. Sticking with the Oldsmobile is just a gimmick, to be honest with you, because I mean, if you're gonna, I could build a Ford, but people are like, oh, if you're gonna put an LS in it, get a Chevelle. Well, if you wanted a trophy wife, then you should have married a pig, right? Because, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people out there watching can probably relate to that statement. But, you know, it just comes down to what you need to do. And for me, I actually talked to one of my hardcore Oldsmobile friends, a few of them who can relate, and they agree, like, going to an LS just makes sense because... And then some of my hardcore old friends like don't like the idea, but it is what it is. I'm going to do what I want to do because it's what I've always done. Case in point. That's why we have like a bitchin' cool paint job because, you know, I do what I want. And this is my car. People forget that. I've done 17 years of budget build shit on the small block Oldsmobile, and out of nowhere, people want to go up and roar over me possibly running an LS, which the engine that's going in here is still an Oldsmobile, and we're still going to fix that. But I got to get rid of some of this shit, and we're going to go to an LS. It is what it is. You know, it's not the end of the world. And so people, just chill. We're just going to do something different. And if you don't like it, well, that's fine. You know, the Pontiac still has an Olds engine in it. You know, we still... kind of, you know, my mom always said, don't forget how to sell oranges because one day they might get you by. And that was her making a comparison to people who sell oranges on the side of the highway. So, you know, we're not going to forget where we came from, but we definitely just want to do something a little bit different. And I've built Ford engines and I've built Oldsmobile engines and Mopar, but I just want to do an LS because I see it as a very viable option just to keep things generic, cheap, and more readily available for the amount of racing that we've done, you know. And I want to do more racing. I just kind of want to focus on racing at this point in my life because I kind of spent the last 17 years constantly tinkering with cars and stuff and working on people's shit, and I'm kind of done with that. I just want to race. I just want to go out and hang out and race with my buddies. That's what we do. That's what we've been doing the last couple of years, and it's been fun. This year has kind of sucked, but, you know, we're going to roll with the punches and keep on chugging along. So, end of rant. Share, like, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram as Copper Cutlass. And if you don't like it, well, then, you know, you got two thumbs and you know where to stick them. We'll let you go.